Welcome to MiSec Southfield. How's everyone doing today? Did you guys have a good dinner? All right. So Tech Systems will be providing some food. There's going to be flatbread pizzas. Should be here any moment. So please enjoy if you already didn't eat dinner. Some quick announcements. We're going to get right into the talk. So for those who might be new, I know someone on Slack said they were going to be their first meeting. Are they here today? That's you?
Yeah.
Well, welcome very much. What's the title of your talk today? So for some of the new people who don't know, MiSec has several different kind of chapters or locations that meet. There's MiSec Jackson that meets the second Tuesday of the month, MiSec Lansing that meets the second Wednesday of the month, and MiSec Southfield, which is the second Thursday. Then you have unique situations like we do this month where we're actually first because of the way the weeks fall. So don't get confused by that. If you're interested in other security organizations, there's ISC Squared, North Oakland ISSA, Motor City ISA, and Lansing ISSA. I won't go through a name when they meet. If you're interested, let me know. I have the information. I can just forward you my notes that I have. Be part of MiSec. We're looking to grow and have more people come in and talk, as well as if you're looking for a talk, ping me, let me know. Next month we're hoping to do some malware analysis and writing some rules in Yara as well as ClamAV. After that, I don't know what we're going to talk about, so if you're interested in seeing something, ping me and we'll see if we can find somebody with that skill set to talk. If you have a skill set, you have a passion, and there's something you want to share with the team, let me know because we want to get you up here. Announcements. There is a CTF meetup this Saturday at the Office Coffee Shop between 1 and 5 p.m., which is in Royal Oak. Ali, are you here? You are. Did you want to talk about that at all? Or?
So we're getting together. This first round would be Hack the Box. So we'll get together, team up on a couple machines, and kind of help each other guide along. Initially, we want to play with Hack the Box. Long term, we usually want to set up some Jeopardy-style CTF games and kind of form a CTF team. Find one person for mail analysis, another person that can do reverse engineering, another one that can do crypto, which I can't depend on it. But essentially, yeah, we want to put together a team long term. But short term, if you want to play CTF, we're definitely open.
Awesome. So be there.
Bring your laptop, bring your power strips and extension cables. High-speed internet is available, and a bunch of caffeine.
So if this works well, it's going to be a regular event, so like a monthly type of thing or even bi-monthly. So it'd be really cool to brush up on some CTF skills and practice for the RU CTF that's coming in November, December. Social event is going to be Thursday the 29th. It's going to be at the Jolly Pumpkin. 6:30 is when we're going to be meeting. It's already on the MiSec calendar. We'll get it on Facebook soon. Also, a post was given in Slack for ISACA. Detroit is excited to announce their 5th annual scholarship competition. So check out the Southfield channel on Slack, or I have information right here. I think it takes place March 15th, if I remember correctly. So if you're interested in a scholarship and you want to participate, let us know. We'll send you information. Is there other announcements? No? Nothing. Converge? Converge? I don't have the dates handy. Do you know?
May 12th.
So Converge.
It's on my birthday.
So May 12th is Converge. I know request for papers has been posted, as well as requests for volunteers. So visit the Twitter account, and you can sign up for both from there.
10th through 12th and T-sides on the Sunday.
Okay.
Saturday.
Converge is 10th and 11th.
10th and 11th.
Thursday, Friday,
Yeah. B-sides on 12th.
March?
May.
Sorry, so it's May 10th and 11th,
Yeah.
for those who might be watching the stream. And then on the 12th, which is a Saturday, is going to be. All right, so if there's no other announcements, we're good right to our talk. So the talk title is WAFiu? WAFiu?
Waifu?
Not going to clean up your security mess.
I tried to be clever. It was way different than business meeting.
By null space.
Alright, so. Hi guys, so bearing with me, this is kind of a business thing that kind of turned into trying to be more kind of hacker friendly and fun and whimsy. So, who the hell am I? I'm a director of IT. I've been that way for 2 years, going to my 3rd year. The whole other time I was a programmer and did a lot of system administration for Linux boxes, Windows boxes, so I'm not just a management idiot yet. And I've seen a whole number of things. I've had a lot of interest in security for a long time. I've been a MiSec member since the beginning, so I like to kind of think I know one or two things. I'm not the best, but yeah, I'm not an OG. That's you, Dick.
MiSec OG.
You know, whatever. So why are we having this talk? So I don't know if everybody noticed, everything's kind of going to the cloud, and that usually means everything's more web-based. I can't see anyone doing any telnet to a cloud server, but don't say never. And the whole Java client or any other type of client server with some weird kind of port, everybody's going web-based because web clients make everything easier. So, and business critical stuff is going to the cloud. You get your ERPs, you got your CRMs, they're all going out there, or maybe they're on-prem, or they're on a colo or wherever, but they're more than likely becoming web-based. It's what we see with SaaS, what we see with Oracle, it's what we're seeing with a bunch of other stuff. Corporate websites increasingly become more dynamic, more complicated. They always want some new thing that pops, whatever the heck that means. So, what the heck is a WAF? I actually got this from Wikipedia. Go ahead and read it, but wow, there's firewall. It really just means Web Application Firewall, which, it kind of follows similar mentalities of what a firewall does. It's got rules, it's got certain controls in place in it. We'll see more when we dig into it, but it's kind of, its idea is in the name. So where we actually could put this? Like, oh, it's an application and it's a firewall, so we're just going to put it in the normal place with a firewall, but not really. It gets a little complicated. So OSI, here's one of the fun parts. It's definitely not in a business meeting. So you see your firewall is typically within the network and transport area, but the application you think, well, it could be in the application. No, it's more in the presentation area, but the happenstance, the way it actually works and how everything kind of comes together, it hits the session, it hits the transport network. Let's just avoid OSI because it just seems to make everything more complicated because I don't know how many guys are network guys. None of you, okay. So never mind that slide, pays no attention. Let's just go with what the hardware and software kind of looks like. So we got our cloud here and you got your traditional firewall. The WAF usually, if you haven't, I hope to God you have a firewall on your web app, or start with the basics, people. Let's not go with the WAF right at first. The WAF kind of just sits there, and it really affects more of the HTTP, HTTPS area. It really does that kind of inspection layer on that, and it's much more intelligent about it than your typical firewall. So that's really what's going to be targeting your HTML, your JSON, XML, SOAP, YAML, CAML, whatever the hell you're sending back and forth between your server. And you got your application layer, and that's basically what it does. It does that kind of inspection. You're not doing this today. You're not doing this tomorrow. You're not doing this in a week. You're sure as hell not doing this. Oh wait, no, that slide went away. Okay, you're not doing it soon. So you're not doing this on a Friday afternoon. Don't do it that way, man. This is a whole lot of time, a whole lot of planning, and really need to think about it pretty hard. Work with your security team, work with your development team, figure out what the WAP actually does, or the web app does. So let's talk a little bit about what we're going after here. So here's some of the software we're going to see here. AppArmor, ModSecurity, Systrace, Varnish. Some of these might be familiar, some of them are completely foreign. That's fine. WordFence really just focuses on WordPress. So we're going to go after pizza boxes. Everybody loves pizza boxes, right? These appliances, these guys. I'm not really going to talk too much about them. They're all over the place. They're really expensive. It's really hard for a lot of people to just kind of jump into it. And more than likely, if anyone has seen one of these things, you're going to figure out that there's a ton of training involved in this stuff. Cloud, again. Wow, another slide has just disappeared. I feel like Boris Ferdlich right now. So basically, this stuff is, if they're involved in networking and stuff and they're involved in the cloud environment, they've got stuff. So you already got training. I'm just going to kind of jump past that stuff.
Did the WAF stop the GitHub DDoS?
No, we'll probably, it's a DDoS. What? No.
I saw Akamai,
No.
right? So,
No.
I saw Akamai.
No. It doesn't stop at DDoS. It sometimes can stop the spidering and that kind of stuff, but it doesn't, you know, your DDoS, you're dealing with kind of low-level C stuff, like what you're seeing with Memcache now, where people are just getting completely hosed over by that kind of stuff. Why is that stuff on the internet? I don't know. That's a different talk. Wait, different. It's later. So let's just go after ModSecurity. It's what I'm most familiar with. It's what I've done. Dude, it's free. It's something you could just deploy and start working around with it. There's whole kinds of configuration. We'll go into that, and that's all the more reason you're not doing this in a day. It takes a whole lot of time. So there's all kinds of cool stuff. I definitely like this. I can see the full HTTP transaction, not just the gets. If you see anything in your log files, you're just seeing the gets, these posts. So that's really interesting. Might be familiar for someone who's got a scene, maybe. So again, like I can't say this enough. Just don't do that. I've seen too many people just like, I'm going to slap this thing out. It works, and oh my God, everything is broken. Your web app does not work. Why? Put this firewall in place. And really, when was the first time you put a firewall, a traditional firewall, and it just worked, right? Sure. So installing, I'm going to troll a little here. This is really, really easy to install stuff on Debian. It's sudo apt get install. There's a ton of documentation out there on actually how to install this if in your distro. You could do this on IIS. I gotta laugh on that one. Why are you putting ModSecurity on IIS? Why are you running IIS? Well, that's a different topic. But yeah, this is pretty easy to just get it installed. That's the easy part. You don't have any configuration. This is actually this right here. Spider Labs is this fantastic whole documentation. It'll take you weeks to read through, to go through it. And all about ModSecurity, and it's really good, so I would suggest you read that. So simple, right? I just got installed, it's good, it's working. What are you talking about, Brad? You're full of shit. This will work fine. No. We got rules, and if anyone's ever deployed a firewall, there's a lot of rules. So here is actually a great list of core rules. OWASP actually less them, but they'll still break your crap. So yeah, there's all kinds of stuff it'll block right away, but you know, if you ever realize that kind of developers write stuff, I'm getting a little ahead of my slides here. So, but yeah, so here's an example of what some of the stuff will actually kind of stop. It'll turn you'll see like some big, huge nasty SQL error on things, and it'll turn it into this, which is nice because you're not exposing all your tables and everything, which you should never show that in the first place. But you know, developers are lazy and they really like that feedback. Oh, hey, I shouldn't. That's broken. Rules, yeah. This just goes off the page. It just goes down. It's huge. So that's all the more reason. This is the core rules. These are just the files. I'm not even going to show you what's inside of them because they just, again, they keep going through. You think this isn't going to break any of your stuff? You have a really simple web app, and it's probably stacked.
So each of these rules apply to some sort of OWASP vulnerability, is that? Or a series of OWASP vulnerabilities?
It's well known, and this is where we actually kind of go to a bit of the offense. It's all statically written. It's all well-known rules. You know, here's XSS rules, SQLi rules. You're going to see IP reputation, which, okay, IPs change, man. It happens.
So we see application attack XSS. XSS. I mean, I see XSS vulnerabilities every week, right? So is that just common stuff or
it's really common stuff. It's really simple stuff. It's the really low-hanging fruit. The stuff that we've talked about in previous sessions. We'll talk about XSS, just like the SQLi, which if anyone's ever listened to my talk, you know I talk a lot about SQLi. But so yeah, that gets a little bit more into the further in the talk where this sounds great and wow, this is huge and robust, but it's kind of the problem with it. So I keep saying this, it will break your shit. Don't just throw it out on production. Web apps are like snowflakes. They're all a little different. They're all a little unique. And programmers are lazy. takes one to know one. Because I know that if you guys know, you got your ActiveX, your Flash, your GSP, all kinds of weird client stuff that just does sends all kinds of weird stuff, and it could very well pop up at. I've seen people actually push stuff back and forth, SQL over JSON. Why? Why are you doing that, man? No, that's supposed to do it. No, that's a terrible idea. You just like SQL injection for. That's legit. That's awful. So yeah, again, if you're a security guy, you don't really get the mandate. Say, developer, don't do that. No, it's working. Don't touch it. Don't break it. Just put the WAF in there, man. Yeah, I'm just gonna keep saying this over and over again. Just don't deploy it, man. Don't do that. So let's fast forward a little bit. So yeah, man, you can put your CISO or whoever management kind of guy. I'm gonna put the management hat on. Hey, so we got this WAF and we're good. We're now unhackable, so it's awesome. So we're good. We've been through this again, guys. It's hardening the perimeter, and that's you're putting in your additional little security tool that it's great. It's catching some low-hanging stuff that you probably should not have out there, but it's not going to stop everything.
Is that a peanut M&M?
Yes, it is a peanut.
Peanuts are hard.
Yeah.
Impenetrable.
Maybe that's the peanut butter. Okay, that's the peanut butter. It's nice and softy, chewy. It depends, all right? This is the best graph I could find to give the explanation. Don't be pedantic. So, yeah, we've been through this conversation before. It's not a silver bullet. It's a typical security stuff that we see cat and mouse game where we're writing rules to protect stuff that's static, but this, the hackers just have to be right once or figure out your clever little trick that you come up with. Let's talk about offense. So first thing you want to do, you got to detect it first, right? You don't know what you're hitting, you don't know you're going after, you don't even know if you have a WAF in front of you if you're trying to hit it. And this is actually pretty good. I've never really ran WAF Wolf because that just worked pretty well in my tests. Also, I'm pretty old OG, as Derek says, that I just kind of check the response headers and body, and I know just by looking at some of the stuff, like, that's not a normal web server. What is that trash? That must be WAF. So sorry, this is very low resolution a long time ago. So here's it just running this. This is what you'll probably see from this nmap stuff. And what you're gonna actually see, oh my God, it just says WAF detect. Isn't that nmap script awesome? It's fantastic. So there you go.
What did it detect? Is that the security?
It just detected. I'm sure there's maybe some better nmap scripts out there.
What did you have in place though?
I actually just ran this against a well-known website that actually had a WAF on it.
Oh.
So, but yeah, there's later tools in here. WAF Wolf actually can tell you, look, it's varnish. Yeah. Yeah. And also it says clear signs when it hits. This is some of the stuff you can even see in the. Yeah, you shouldn't be here. Connection closed by foreign host. That's a response. You see that in the header, and it just goes. It's the big middle finger from the WAF just going, you shouldn't be here. Like, that's cute and clever, but that's pretty obvious and a very good signature. Going old school, right there, that NSAF, that's your Citric Net Scaler, and they still have that today. They just haven't changed it. But yeah, this is just looking at the cookie, it's in there. ModSecurity, yeah, what I'd love to talk about, it does that little signature thing too.
So ModSecurity considered a WAF?
Yes. You put the rules in there, and it produces kind of that WAF in there. There's a lot of functionality into it. You read like that Spider Labs thing. It's huge. You could do a ton of stuff. Okay. It could do some weird redirection too as well. But different talk. And then just some stuff that's a little too on the nose. Like, really? And that's not even a demo there. It says no hacking. So, yeah, okay. So let's just talk a little bit bypassing, So, we just put this a little bit, think about it. Predefined policy, static rules, signature-based. This sounds familiar. I don't. Can anyone think of anything that's signature-based? Maybe. AV. It's probably. And you are a quiet crowd. Derek, talk up more. You just need a little clutter. I'll just let this get played because it's funny and I need a drink of water. It's a trap. It used to be a Velociraptor if you're too young to see this movie. So it gets pretty simple from here. You could just use your old, pretty simple hacker tools. You just got to hash it. You just got to get past its static rule where it's looking for that typical SQLi thing where you're doing, you put a comment at the end of it and you're doing some kind of true statement. And oh, hey, look, oh, there's the whole table. But I'm not kidding, it's really simple. So SQLi, this is the stuff you normally would put in there. You just think that just works. Well, WAF's going to block it, except if you get creative and you start doing things that are not part of the typical set. You see that. Picard facepalm. More SQLi. And this is just URL encoding. You would think it would be able to parse that. I mean, come on, WAF, figure it out. But no. And sometimes you just need to do it one more time. The one WAF like, oh, I've decoded that, but if it doesn't have it to decode it again. So some rare cases you need to do triple, but if double will actually get you right through it, no problem. So there's just a whole bunch of stuff in OWASP that actually talks all about SQL injection. I might as well put that up there. OWASP is a great website. It's got a ton of tools. But it's better than my talk. SES, so what Derek was talking about. This is just a few little examples of what this stuff, even just kind of breaking some of the HTML, actually, it'll fix it for you. Chrome actually kind of does this in some cases, where it'll actually fix it for you on the page, and so the WAF actually will go, oh no, don't worry about that. It's weird. So basic methods just kind of spell out no character, mixed case, buffer overflow, just pretty standard stuff that you think it shouldn't work. It should be more intelligent to kind of work past that, but it does. It works. It's ridiculous. So what did we learn? So I'm moving really fast in this one. So there's going to be a lot of time for Q&A. We think in layers. You can't just think hard candy shell. And security onion. Yay! Wow, that was fast. That was a lot faster than I thought it would be. Questions?
Wow.
58
slides and.
Yeah, I burned through those really quick. There's a lot more conversation, and the previous times I've given a talk where there's a lot more dialogue or seminars, and people will stop and we'll sit there and talk about a slide. But you guys are quiet. Yeah.
What's your experience with deploying WAF and cloud-based or apps on the cloud, not actually hosted internally?
Hosted, is it like a managed box? You have access to the root and stuff?
Yeah.
It's not any different than you having it on bare metal or anything like that. It's just pretty simple, depending on what your operating system is. If you're using Linux, like I said, it's dead simple. IIS is a little more involved. There's a lot more options. It's not as quick, but yeah, it's not that bad. I can't say it's any different than anything else I've ever done. It gets more interesting when you're kind of you can't do it like on shared hosting or anything like that. You have to own the box kind of, or be managed.
What type of WAFs are there? You showed ModSecurity installed in the box.
Mm-hmm.
Those network WAFs, right? Like appliance-based.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Drop-in solutions and just stop everything in between your firewall and the internet.
It's not going to stop everything. That's what I just had to talk about, Derek. You not paying attention? God, you're like a manager.
Where do the logs come from? I saw it looked like a full header logs. I was looking at those for like domain fronting detection, where that might detect people trying to use your network for domain fronting. But what kind of data do you get in those?
In the logs?
Yeah, from a WAF. Or ModSecurity or whatever.
Yeah, so some of the stuff you get in the logs, it's I talked about, you actually get to see more of what's going back and forth. between the server. You get to kind of see the full scope. As long as you tweak it to change those kind of rules to allow that kind of stuff, you get in the log what you want in the log. But it actually reveals quite a bit more, which is really nice. It's a nice part of it. And logs are the bread and butter of actually doing the security.
Yeah, for sure. Do you have experience with like Imperva or Citrix or what's it, Barracuda? I think that's a WAF.
F5.
F5. I've had a little experience with Citrix, but it was really early in my career.
It's like everybody has Citrix NetScalers. Are NetScalers the WAF, or is that?
Yeah, it's a WAF.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a lot of these security appliances. It's a whole bunch of stuff kind of wrapped up into one. Because a WAF isn't really that CPU intensive. It's just doing comparisons against this stuff. Maybe if it was an older architecture, older hardware, yeah, it'd be intensive, but not with the latest stuff we got. So, yeah.
Have you worked with any virtual patching?
Virtual patching.
Yes.
In regards to what the WAF.
So like RFI that we've been working on, so you can send Qualys or Nessus and you can do a full scan and you put the WAF in learn mode. So it detects that you're doing all these attacks, and then you take those results of what actually was successful, you input those into your WAF, and then when it sees it, it starts blocking it.
I've not had opportunity to work with any of this smart kind of WAF stuff for it.
Yes, you still have to patch. But if there's key vulnerabilities such as struts, when struts came out, you could then throw a scan at it, and then your WAF can learn from that attack, even though it may not have a signature. It bases the signature off the results from the scan that you conducted with your vulnerability scan.
Yeah, I haven't worked with it, but I've heard good things about it. It sounds pretty cool. We're not huge, where I'm working, we're not doing a ton of web stuff, so I don't get to play with the latest and greatest. But yeah, I've heard good things about it.
How long does it take, for instance, when you did it from first install to fully configured?
Really depends on your environment. Snowflakes, my friend. It's how much web, how big is your web app? How complicated is it? Do the developers really following best practices, or is it just like rip splat kind of stuff where you gotta kind of sit there and you gotta really work with your dev and kind of tear through it and figure out those in between places where it goes back and forth. And figure out what that is. If it's nice and clean and it's not ridiculous, honestly, I've had really good luck just slapping the rules in if you're following good practices. But I've seen some stuff that's just, I told you, it makes you cry. Why are you doing this? This doesn't make any sense, but it runs production and you can't break that. So,
how does the implementation change, if at all, if you're going to implement the WAF at the session layer versus the presentation layer?
So it just, that was the whole OSI model. Really, you don't tweak it. It's just a happenstance of the way it's designed and how it'll stop things. Because there's multi-layers to the WAF and how it'll stop stuff. So like the spidering, it's not going to be the presentation. It's going to be lower on the level. It'll actually go, no, you're not doing that. I see what you're doing there. Stop. Well, some of the higher level stuff, some of the SQLi stuff, and some of this XSF stuff is going to be higher up on the OSI layer. It's kind of why I wanted to avoid the OSI layer, because it just kind of seems to confuse the living crap out of everybody. Confused the crap out of me when I first heard about it. I'm still confused. So.
Can you map the OSI layer to the TCP/IP layer?
I'm going to throw something at you. Stop trolling me, man.
Good question. Good question.
So what about implementations for like a network-based WAF, like a Imperva? You put the appliance in there, you gotta like configure it for your web application.
That's why you have contractors, right? If you can afford a
Is it easy? Is it hard? Is it?
Hiring a contractor? Well, that's pretty easy.
Is that your management head?
Like hardware WAFs are really no different than software WAFs. Yeah. Is that you got to sit down, you got to take your time to install it and do it. You got to tweak it. It's like you're seeing like any of your security.
Are you configuring based on specifics of your web application for inputs and technology and whatever?
I can't. So like the hardware WAFs, they're not just like I was saying. They're not just WAFs. So there's more you have to consider. You should already be sitting down and talking to all the people, all the different team members that this thing's actually going to sit in front of or it's going to block. So you're going to probably want to talk to your network staff, You're gonna want to talk to your dev staff and figure out what's going on and get it in a test environment and make sure it doesn't break stuff. And a lot of it's going to be trial and error. I mean, it's a long, hard slog, and it's just painful. It's a whole lot of going back and forth.
Yeah, they're going to clutch it.
Oh, you are so lucky. Months and months of just not doing anything, really. That's what I felt like going through it.
My life.
So, is there any reason to have a WAF if you have like a secure application? So like in the
Oh, I'm sorry. You're secure. My application secure.
different foundation than my putting coding for cross-site scripting. So like it goes in the application and say they could check for a name field. It strips out special characters and numbers. If your application handles that, is there a reason for a WAF on top of that?
Well, you're gonna want a WAF is good just because nobody's perfect. It's never gonna be. You're never gonna have 100%, and it's always a moving target. When the application never really stops. It always starts to grow legs, and someone's like, well, if we just tack this thing on, and it's some junior dev that throws it up and nobody inspects it, or no static analysis on it, and they're like, it's a junior dev, he's not, it's no big deal. Oh, it exposes the production database. So yeah, it helps. It's just that additional layer. Stops the low-hanging fruit. Stops the really stupid stuff that could just cause you to have a really bad day, week, month, year kind of thing. So I think it's worth it. It's definitely something investing your time into getting into it.
And to Derek's point, the logs are real important. Some of the next generation WAFs that are out there they fingerprint the users that are hitting you. So if they start seeing some exploits, then they can start not only blocking their IP, but also you can set it up to block the fingerprint of that particular person. So if they start coming through a VPN or using a different IP, it can identify them.
Yeah.
Going back to the logs, are you able to use these to go back to developers and give them a good swift kick to say?
Yes, they would be able to, because the logs actually give you like a full URL, what is actually being used and what are the inputs and outputs on it. So, I mean, if they don't know what that is, then you really need to find a new developer. Yeah, they should have this, be able to see this kind of stuff. And some of it's actually going to be pretty obvious because it's like ding, 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 one after another on the log file. And you can even see someone's trying to enumerate or someone trying to do a bunch of different stuff right there in the log. Funny things is sometimes I've seen it's a bug in the code that's actually causing it to, and it's like breaking itself. And that is the thing it's like killing itself. And it's, hey, the web server's down. No, it's not, it still works. Oh, wait, bug in the code. So sometimes it's even good as a development tool. Any more questions?
What's your favorite WAF?
ModSecurity. I like it just because of the tweaking. I'm a code monkey. Still love anything that's software, I can tweak it. Some of the appliance stuff I've touched, it really felt limiting. And I really, there's maybe some additional rules I want to kind of build into myself, or maybe I wanted to, have it run some script stuff to kind of auto-build some of the rules on the fly. And I couldn't do that with the appliance stuff. I could, but then I would break it or I'd void the warranty. Because it's basically, like I said, it's a Linux box. And more than likely, they are running ModSecurity in the box anyway. Oh, two of them. Ryan?
Does it tell you what list of conf files you broke? ModSecurity, or does it run without conf files that are accurately given?
Oh, Apache won't even run if the conf file's borked. If you have, it's a lot of fun if someone wrote a bad rule in there. That's why I said you start with the OAuth stuff and just kind of go one config file at a time, and you'll kind of work through that. But none of those conf files will break your stuff. It's all the new stuff you'll actually add into it that will break it. That's probably more to another good point to make is that don't just stop at those rules. Make your own. Add some more to it. That's really kind of the awesome sauce of it is you make your own rules. It's like an IDS. You are making Java rules that everybody loves to do today.
Have you been asked to correlate the logs from that WAF over to a SIM?
Somebody else's job, not mine. I never did that. You can talk to Derek about that. Sounds like he knows all about SIMs. I think he gave a talk about that.
I've never had to talk about SIMs.
Uh-huh. Sure.
Threat detection with logs.
Sims. Sims by number. Any more questions?
How do you implement machine learning or artificial intelligence into?
Throw so much stuff at you, man. You want to give a talk about machine learning? You should give a talk about machine learning.
He did.
TensorFlow. This would be great.
Is that it?
That's it.
Where'd you get the water bottle from?
Derby Dam.
Thank you very much, Brad.